Hey everyone, it's Future here, and this is Polychrome by Walrus Audio. Now, Polychrome is a flanger effect, and before you click away because you don't like flangers, this is actually quite a versatile little box. So I suggest you stick around and maybe you'll start to appreciate the flanger, or maybe you'll just reaffirm that you really don't like flangers. Either way, stick around and find out, I would say. So for our chain today, we are going to play some synths through the Polychrome because there's already a lot of guitar content on the Polychrome. So I figured let's try something else. Our chain is the Zoya by Empress Effects. This acts as a signal input configurator because I have both my guitar and a synth connected right now. It also allows me to engage the lore, which is on top, which we will do a little bit with later. And we have a delay in here we can use as well. From the Zoya we go into the Carrion by Occult Pedals, which is a red style distortion, Polychrome, and then the Sautois Reverb, also by Walrus Audio. Now let's do a very short recap about what a flanger is. If you want full details, I'm going to link you to the Science of Loud video about flangers because he did a great job explaining flangers, and he also has some very cool visuals which I'm not going to try to reproduce because it just takes too much time. Now a flanger in essence is just a chorus. You basically have a dry signal, and in the dry signal you mix a delayed signal, and the delayed time is modulated by an LFO. Hence the rate and depth, those are controls of that LFO. Now the thing that sets the flanger apart from the chorus is that on this delay line you have a feedback control, so you can feedback the delayed signal into the delay line to create this kind of jet sound that you either like or dislike. But I think it's a pretty cool effect, and if you're supple with the feedback you can get just chorus-like sounds, which is also very cool. Enough talking, I'd say. Let's get a little loop going and let's go through the controls for a little bit. So the synth we're using today is Phase Blend by Kilohertz with one of the presets by Connor, the TX Times as a bass patch. Now this patch doesn't have that much in harmonic content, that's why we need a Carrion. But first let's just engage the Polychrome. So with content that doesn't have too much harmonic information, it's a fairly subtle effect. So that's why on clean guitar it tends to be a little bit more controlled than when you start to kick in distortion. So let's kick in some distortion. Now the voice switch allows you to switch between two modes. One is a full spectrum flange, the other is a more controlled flange. So if you go to the full, you get the jet sound. Next to the voices you also have 3 LFO shapes. Right now we're in the classic triangle, which is kind of the default. You can also switch to a sine, although the difference between the sine wave and the triangle is pretty subtle. And you get a random for ultimate chaos. Now, personally, I think it would have been cooler to have like a ramp or a saw instead of a sine and a triangle, because they're very close together. But I guess if you're into more nuanced sound design, it's better to have these two options. So it's not an unreasonable option. With a reverb, you can really smoothen out those transitions, make it a little bit more controlled. With the DFV control, you can go from dry to flange to vibrato effects. Now if we kick in the reverb and the lower, we get quite a nice bed of sounds. So as you can see, the Polychrome is pretty versatile in generating a range of chorus-like sounds all the way to very flangery jet noise sounds. Now, just for completeness, we of course also need to connect a guitar to it, so let me just grab a cable and let's do a little bit of guitar. Alright, and there we are. If I can find my guitar pick. Well, let's just see what happens when you go to the extremes. So that's pretty annoying. Best not do that. But as you might notice, even when at full feedback you don't get feedback loops or self-oscillation, which is very nice. It's not possible to blow up your amp with feedback loops using this pedal. Just because it's cool. Let's actually go back to that little delay thing. And let's make this a little bit more sensible. It's kind of hard to do in the camera, but hey. And there you have it, some noises from the Walrus Audio Polychrome using synth and guitar, combining it with some effects to show you how effects have influence on the way the flanger sounds, like the distortion really adding a lot of jet noises if you don't control your feedback. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions about the Polychrome Walrus audio pedal device object, leave them down below in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.